Hello again, everyone. Melth back from my holiday vacation with more Baldur's Gate 3 challenge run. Details of the challenge are in the video description as usual, but the summary of it is I'll be doing no long rest, not using healing potions in my party, trying to tackle every encounter with combat, and doing so with the hardest possible grouping of enemies that's available for that encounter. Watch out for spoilers throughout this series. Okay, so last time I took out the Spider Matriarch. Now, let's exit turn-based mode so we can get Karlach unstuck from that web and get over here and fix ourselves up after what happened. I think first of all, I'll just have Astarion probably recast his familiar. And we can of course recast Long Shredder on it. Now I should choose whether to put Leiboingzel back in Symbiotic Entity mode or Wild Shape her into perhaps a spider form, which is really useful for throwing out webs if we're ever turned into combat and getting great battlefield control. I think I might just go with Symbiotic Entity again though. Keep it simple, keep the flexibility to cast all her spells, because she still has most of her spell slots. Okay, now, I need to loot the battlefield. I'll probably skim over that because it's mostly just picking up my own threat items out of poison pools carefully. I guess there's this guy who has a bit of jewelry, but other than that, it's pretty much just picking my own javelins up, so I'll skim over that. Oh, I guess there's this one other guy too. One other little detail, back here in this corner there is actually a waypoint you can discover. It doesn't really matter much because there's no reason to ever come back here, but I think in-character helps justify what we're about to do, which is jump down to the Underdark. Because I think the waypoints are an in-character thing, not just an out-of-character thing, because we have Gale discussing teleporting so that one to save himself from the falling Nautiloid, for example. All which is to say it's going to be easier to justify jumping down there if we know we can just get back up instantly by teleporting. So that's why we're going to do that. Now, before I go, I better give Karlach Featherfall so we don't just die. And I guess I should also give people javelins so they're ready to throw again.
Assume nothing.
Okay. Let me cast Long Shredder on people. And then, most importantly, let me cast Featherfall on everyone. And now let's go into stealth mode. I said stealth mode, everyone.
What to do?
And in we go. You get some glitchy behavior here sometimes. Occasionally you'll just see yourself in the middle of this unrendered void before it does this cutscene. Once in a while I've fallen through the floor into that zone which is walking around in Baldur's Gate. That's a pretty rare bug, thankfully. So here we are in the under... it's too much to call it dark. Under dim, maybe?
I'd much rather be outside.
The whole place is pretty well lit.
You've only just come to tolerate sun, and you're already nostalgic.
I mean, Leiboingzel, he had to hide from the sun for like 200 years, not because he didn't like it.
By all means, return topside.
I can actually sympathize with Astarion for once. So, nearby there are some Minotaurs, which are pretty rough if they close in with you, which they're pretty good at doing. They have faster than average movement speed, and they can also jump a long way. And if they hit you, they can do massive damage on criticals, which they can get a lot of because they give themselves advantage pretty easily. They're sort of like barbarians in monster form. Some similar abilities. So we could get onto that mushroom and fight them from there, but that's not really much space. There's another one around there too. I think it's going to be smarter for us to sneak around this way and come back at them with this high ground when they can come at us on the single file.
Or I'm lost.
So, I'm going to dash down here.
Never wanted the easy path.
You know, maybe I'll just exit turn-based mode and we'll just walk this way. Come on, everyone.
God. Timisks. Known to cause confusion. Best not get too close.
I think there's a treasure chest around here with pretty good treasure, usually. So let's loot that. Okay, it was pretty unimpressive this time. Okay, so there's got to be a Minotaur up there. We want to wait for it to be on its way back, I think. Both Minotaurs are there.
Lethal. The Underdark is everything I thought it'd be.
And this
I guess not every plane has one of these. Nope. Alright, let's go into tournament mode and slip on by the last few feet.
By the great Lizelle of
I want to ungroup everyone, in fact. And their familiars.
Time for a little death. Move unseen.
Now, the reason that I'm walking up this path is twofold. One reason is just that there are booby traps down by the netting. But also, it's just more convenient to be up there where they have a harder time getting to you. Okay, I think we can now probably exit turn-based mode. And then just have people jump up one by one.
Why does the air smell like mind control?
Oh, what in the world is happening to Shovel? Okay. That was a glitch. He ran over the mines and blew himself up. Or herself up. What? Okay. Well, that's some buggy behavior there. Okay, well, never mind that.
Keeping low.
I can't waste any more time.
Alright, so that failed to break stealth, so didn't get a surprise round, I guess. There we go. Alright, let's just get everyone out of stealth mode and we'll just fight like this.
Making me sweat. Staring shadow.
How much speed would it take to get down there? Too much. Okay. Well, that's alright.
That's all that matters.
Let's just recast it. They're pretty sturdy. We'll probably do another hit on him. And get out of there.
Swift and lethal.
We should probably have our... height bonus damage from here, I would think. He is a little far, but that's okay.
My path be true.
Well, maybe the good news is, with the ladder destroyed, they probably will have to jump up the mushrooms to get to us, and they might not be smart enough to do that all the time. It is possible for them, but they might not manage it. It's gonna have bad damage because of the bad accuracy here, but that's okay as long as they can't hurt us. What matters is not necessarily to win in the smallest number of attacks, but to win taking the fewest number of attacks.
Ready for another round? 1, 2. Jimmy on the go.
Might keep those guys in stealth to come down and surprise one of them with a blind. Although Reckless Roar is kind of like Barbarians' reckless attack, giving them advantage on attacks, giving us advantage against them. So, but it's like a buff that lasts rather than a thing you choose every round. Alright, he's stuck at the bottom there for this turn. Next turn, pretty sure he can get back up to us, but only by jumping in the right sequence, which they might not be bright enough to do. I think that's shaking because I think the Bulette is nearby. Always happens around this area. Nice.
Another step.
Might be possible to set up a Starian to get the kill now, which would be beneficial, since that gives him an extra attack. So I think I'll have a Starian come by here. What's your minimum damage in that? 14? Yeah, that should be a kill. Nice. I think invisible cancels out the disadvantage from range. If you don't know, if you have any number of sources of advantage and any number of sources of disadvantage, they all cancel each other out just to neutral. Doesn't matter how many you have for each one, they just all cancel out to neutral. It's a thing that is not really good about the system, to be honest, and really made for a lot less teamwork and interaction in 5e than many previous editions. Just because if you already have one source of advantage, nothing else matters. That was some good damage.
Taking position.
No word.
I think he resists slashing. This Minotaur has a special amulet, resist slash. Makes him weak to bludgeoning. I don't think I have any thrown bludgeoning weapons, however.
Incoming.
I mean, I think any thrown object can count as bludgeoning, but they don't do much damage compared to thrown weapons. Alright, he can probably Brutal Leap. No, I guess not. That's fine. We'll just demolish him from here, then.
Have to keep going.
Shall we cut and run?
Oh, I just realized that Ballista doesn't have his full number of temporary hit points. I should have given the kill to him. Oh well. So I guess these are the Myconids talking through these spores. I don't honestly know what the point of this scene is, because we'll get a similar introduction to their telepathy as we approach them anyway, so I don't know, it's just to build tension, maybe.
They are coming. You are coming.
Well, whatever.
All's well that
Anyway,
ends.
we are now here in the Zhentarim Hideout area. We'll eventually find that out as we come to this area from the surface later on. For now, we'll just start looting it. Seems to be abandoned.
These boots have seen everything.
Don't get careless here. There are a number of traps around. Ah, some nice magic arrows there. Happy to have those. Some alchemy ingredients. You know, this is okay. I already have magic weapons, so the ignoring resistance part doesn't really help, but it is helpful for just being a +1 to hit when I don't have many oils of accuracy yet. So I'm happy to have those. Yeah, nice. Okay. So now I can use some of those more freely until I get enough oils of accuracy to be comfortable using them whenever I want to get a +2 to hit for Astarion. The Thieves' Tools are also appreciated.
Mercenaries and cutthroats. Useful friends, if you can
They're
afford.
kind of the Mafia. They've changed what they are several times over the course of their history. Huh. We actually hear dialogue from Hobgoblin Merchant we'll be meeting soon, talking about his Mind Flayer friend. Interesting. Well, those are some potential valuables to sell, at least. The reason that I'm down here is mostly to get to those merchants that are in the Myconid town, and a few other power-ups. I basically just want to claim all the sources of strength for my characters before going on to the more difficult boss fights. And some of those just include,
Always room for more.
you know, merchants that sell good items. Money is also very welcome. Free XP for just walking around is also nice. Ah, Wheel of Accuracy. Yet, I am glad I looted this place. The Zhentarim in general tend to have a lot of good alchemy stuff in this game for whatever reason. They're a great source of alchemist fire too, which is pretty rare in the early game. And then kind of ceases to be useful around the time it becomes super common. Which isn't bad game design necessarily. Just, you know, one wishes to have more of the things while they're useful. Speaking of good game design, there's usually an inverse correlation where the easier the trap is to spot or to pick, the harder the lock is, and vice versa. Which I think is a pretty good setup. I'm glad to have that false life scroll, because, of course, Carla took a lot of damage in that previous fight and lost her temporary hit points, so let's replenish that and help her last a little bit longer. Everyone else has better sources of temporary hit points. Yeah, I don't think those are really worth taking and selling. There's a better ratio on the alcoholic beverages. Usually.
Right tool will do the trick.
I always, as I said, have a problem with the way acid works when I use it in this game. When enemies use it, they can reliably lower my armor class with it, but when I use it, that... Oh, didn't mean to talk to you.
You know, for all the time I've spent lurking in the shadows, I've never ventured into the Underdark.
I guess it's an interesting conversation
Hardly
anyway.
a luxurious setting, but it definitely has its upsides for a vampire. Or its undersides, because it's... you know what I mean. What's to tell? I was sired by a vampire named Cazador.
I kind of pictured him as being some kind of Spanish matador type, I guess just from his name. I was not expecting him to be a prissy elf.
I'd rather not reflect on that. I was a magistrate, working to keep the peace in Baldur's Gate, imprisoning troublemakers, that kind of thing. I can't remember much, truth be told. Centuries of torment will do that to you.
I don't think I've had this conversation with him before. Interesting.
I was attacked. A gang of vagrants, a tribe of wandering Gur.
Gur are kind of this itinerant human ethnic group.
They beat me to death's door when Cazador
Mistreated by some of the
appeared.
subtle people and vice versa
I
in
chased
different
them off
places.
and offered to save me, to give me eternal life. Given that my choices were eternal life or bleed to death on the street, I took him up on the offer.
I think that shows that Astarion is
It was
just
only
not that
afterwards I realized
bright.
just how long
Like, most people should know that being a vampire sucks, if you'll pardon the pun. It's certainly better to be dead. Especially in the setting where, like, again, you can get resurrected. He was a magistrate. That would probably be possible for him. And for that matter, again, like, there are verifiably real, visitable heavens that are pretty easy to get into. And get out of, again, with your, friend's help. It's just, like, accepting, like, some kind of eternal torment as an undead being is just not appealing when that's the alternative. Okay, so there's still landmines down there, I think, so I better be careful how I move around here. I can loot that Minotaur. He's got a bit of gold in this locket. I find that is, like, situationally it can be good if you know the enemies only have slashing, but I try to avoid taking damage in the first place, so it doesn't matter that much to me. We can, of course, retrieve all of our thrown items. I might now ungroup and have just Ballista walk over here to where there are still a few things to take care of. And let's pass these to our best thrower, Leboing Zell. Thanks to there being good XP to be had in this area, we're already halfway toward our next level up, which will be a big power increase. Okay, I couldn't remember if there's anything in that or not. Can I sneak over to this Minotaur without setting off any landmines? Nice. Alright, there is, I think, one more Minotaur to deal with. We could let him just get killed by a trap, but I think we only get the XP if we kill him ourselves, so let's do that.
Wish I had a bag of holding.
Around here, we'll get kind of pranked by the Bulette driving by, but as far as I'm aware, it can never attack us in this section, just kind of a warning shot. And then it'll try to attack you before you get to the Myconid village. And it's a really, really tough boss if you're not prepared for it, which my party would not be prepared for at this point. Nope, I better get over to that guy before he charges in too far. Maybe I can have a Astarion sneak up on him. Would that be feasible?
Very, very quiet.
If I run up like that, I might be able to get up close and then maybe get a surprise round. I don't know if it'll work, but he's not a tough fight because he's severely injured. Okay, if your stealth is too successful, then you get this issue.
Long road ahead.
Okay, well, let's come closer and shoot him in the back.
On my feet.
There we go.
There's blood in the air.
So I want to soften him up and not kill him, so then I can give the kill to Ballista. This is unlikely to kill, and it could, but it probably won't. Okay.
Time to move.
Blood comes easy these days.
Alright, I'll keep it simple, I'll just go for this attack. That'll probably kill. Nope, okay. That's fine.
Strike on the move. In my best interest.
Worth a good chunk of XP, really.
Despite everything. Maybe I need more pockets. Swift as my feet can carry me.
So up there, it would have gotten shot and killed by one of the traps left by the old Selune sect that used to be here. We'll find like 20 different apocalyptic journals by them talking about how everything fell apart.
Battle has taken its toll. I should rest.
Nope. The Staff of the Moon Maiden sounds pretty cool, but as far as I'm aware, it doesn't really do anything. I'll take it, but as far as I'm aware, yeah, it's just a stick. Not even a valuable stick. I should offload some of this baggage that I'm carrying to other party members. So, we'll find, as I said, many different journals talking about how things all fell apart here.
Better not be cursed.
They got wiped out by Drow, basically, in a predictable way. We'll also find information indicating that there's a beholder, or rather a spectator in this area. But then somehow, despite having read like 12 times that there is one here...
What's that?
That was a little weird how that happened. Let's ungroup everyone and take care of it like that. We'll turn it into small form and get in there, and then we can just disable the trap from the inside. So, we get a waypoint, which is nice. Here's another journal about how everything fell apart here. And another one about how everything fell apart here. Spectator, etc. Petrifying spectator. So we've learned that it's a spectator that can petrify people, but we're still supposed to be surprised when it shows up later. I find that to be a bit silly. Okay, so there's the moonstone that fires the laser beams that defend this place. Let's just take that out so we get everyone else in here.
Enemy.
Did it survive because of sturdy, or... There we go. Okay, and then there's a lever to open the door. Is it up above? Somewhere around here, I think. Maybe I misremember that. I know there is one. I guess the collapsed tunnel might be where that guy was crushed to death and we found the corpse. Okay, now where is that lever that I missed? Many explosive barrels here, but I'm not doing explosive barrel cheesy stuff, so eh. Ah, there we go, there's the lever. Just lots of stuff to loot here. And then, of course, this is under where we were told the Night Song would be, so then here is this thing here indicating that the Night Song is not, in fact, here, and your princess is in another castle. Still don't know that it's not an object but a person at this point, I guess. I really still don't know why the rumor would have spread that the Night Song was ever here, because you never get a connection from her to this place, and I don't know. It strikes me as kind of weird and pointless from both a game design perspective and in-universe that we had to go through this whole rigmarole coming to this fake-out place before we find the real one. We have really looted a lot of stuff this time. Gonna be rich when I can get to level 5 and start selling things at a better ratio. Does anyone still need a rapier? I don't think so. Yeah, you've got one. You've got a sword that's just better. Okay, then there's some valuable treasure to be found around here. Let us head on up there. Water bottle. That's useful. I kind of hope something like that. You don't usually find much else in barrels, but water bottles are good. There we go. I remember there's a trapped chest around here, but I guess it's not this one. This one's really only good for paladins, basically, so I don't think we'll be using that.
That might be worth a look.
Let me sort my inventory by weight and just pass things by that method off to the others. Okay, so this one's fine. Oh, Elixir of Bloodlust, that's nice. And then this one we've got to disarm. Didn't use guidance there, I should have, but I guess I'll do it on this one. I like this Underdark music going on in the background. I feel like it has kind of a good atmosphere for the area, when this area of wonder rather than terror at the moment. So a pretty good suit of armor, just because it is basically a +1 breastplate. The secondary effect of letting you do these radiant shockwaves when you do radiant damage, that's okay. Radiant orb is nice. When we get more sources of radiant damage, it'll be better. But the important thing for now is just that it basically +1 armor and no stealth penalty to someone. So, on you go. And we can just put this into our wares now. Okay, well, very profitable session so far. Let's grab a few more things and then pick up the sword and the stone that were proving themselves to be the rightful kings of Faerun. Although probably I'll change my outfit to be something less dumb looking than a halfling. Let's go with... I think masculine strong dress, still probably my favorite of the pre-made disguises. Trying to click on that so I can read it. Very sad to see all the Selunites massacred in here. Shadowheart would surely be glad about that, but, you know, too bad she's not here to talk about how cool it is that the followers of this goddess of light all got murdered.
Huh? Was that a boulette?
Yeah. As I said, just kind of a warning shot in this area about the Bulette. But as far as I'm aware, it can't actually ever attack you in this area. But it will on the way to the Myconid town. There's no way to get down to it that I'm aware of by the direct pass that doesn't involve fighting the Bulette first. It's kind of a guardian meant to penalize you if you're coming here too early, I guess. Or just kind of be a tough fight that gets in your way. But here is something very valuable. A totally unique, really, really, really useful sword.
Stone before you, keeping a silent vigil.
Well, I'm not great at either of these things, I guess, but I'm not awful at them either. This is actually important. It might be worth using some inspiration on if I have to. Okay. Jeez. It's a totally one-of-a-kind weapon and has a very powerful effect.
To Elixir. Blood can
Elixir is, I believe, like the
blood.
kind of one good drow goddess who went with the drow just because she thought they would need her guidance when they all followed Lolth. But that didn't really help because they were following Lolth, obviously.
The drow script inscribed on the blade flickers and glows. It rises from the stone, hanging in the air in silent offering.
Well, now that it has judged me worthy, let me hand it off to some other random person. I think... So, Fowler Louvre does a couple things that are really worth talking about. Before the honor mode patches that made it so you can't exploit certain types of damage sources to multiply damage in ways that were not ever intended, you could use Shriek to really do a ton of damage in silly kinds of ways. Plus have the effect of basically doing Bane in an area with no saving throw. Pretty nice. But this one is basically Bless in an area with no limit on number of targets, and that's also really nice, and it stacks with actual Bless, once per short rest. That's incredible. Plus, it's a longsword that gets user dexterity, and it's +1. That's just phenomenal. You'll keep this right through the end of the game. It'll scale up infinitely well with all the summons you get toward the end of the game, so you always want to keep Fowler Louvre around. And use it once per short rest. Let's give it to Leiboing Zell, just because Karlach already has a way to use Bless, basically. Let me hold that staff, maybe. Not that it's going to matter very much. You're proficient because it's a longsword and you're a Githyanki, so we should include it on that count. Okay, so now I want to get to the Myconid town, but if I try it, I will get mugged by the Bulette. So I come up with a solution, as I usually do. Might as well pick up these alchemy ingredients while we're here, I guess. Okay, so what we're going to do is cast Featherfall one more time.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more.
And can we just jump like this to that area? We might be able to.
Timask and torch stalks. Hell of a combination.
Is everyone else jumping down here?
Get confused by one.
Okay.
Blown up by
So we better stand well clear. I don't know what the exact blast radius is. We don't want to be in it.
looking ahead.
So let's have people go out of group mode even, just so we can stay well clear. And you get back. And you get back. And let's even ungroup every familiar so they don't come any closer.
Let's move.
I think I'll just pop that one from a safe distance, I hope. Alright. That exploded most of them. Let's exit turn-based mode so I can wait for the cloud of confusing spores to go away. And you can maybe pop another one to set off the rest, hopefully. That's most of them. should be good enough to now make our approach to where the mushroom folks are waiting to talk to us. Which again will give us information about them being telepathic, so I don't know what the initial scene with the voice talking in their heads was really about narratively, because we'll get the information here where it actually matters.
You were swallowed by a chorus of turbulent music. Through one creature sing many voices, the harmony of an entire collective.
Sovereign, he has come. He is here.
The choir fades.
I guess we can maybe see the Sovereign in the background over that guy's shoulder. I'm not sure if that was him. It's a quick
Brassy
shot.
and commanding.
I am sovereign.
You see a vision. Your lifeless body wrapped in fungal
Moving around a lot for a
tendrils.
lifeless body.
The Sovereign is threatening you.
State your purpose.
Now, I'm going to attack these people at the time when they're toughest, and after doing their quests, we'll get all the content. So, for now, I will play nice, and we'll fight them later on when they have all their forces gathered.
Fungal roots weave through your mind, seeking your true intent. Then the Sovereign drones a new melody, cautious but welcoming.
Descend to me.
It's weird that he says descend, because it's actually way up
The
above.
persistent
And
music.
in fact, I think it's above any entrance to this place.
The Sovereign expects you.
Well, we'll talk with him and the other NPCs in this new town next time, I think. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for watching, everyone. And a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Frank Maidens, Master Knight DH, Jackie and Lino, George Grin, Travis, Carlo Andrea 97, Cthulhu's Mum, Gregory, William Wakefield, Danny Hall, Jeffrey Morse, Dylan Wagner, Just Becca, Jack, Austin Livingston, Mishas01, Jacob Marshall, Nubiana, Till Fisher, Latinx, Discord Colossus, Nicholas Schmuck, Kostya Nesterovich, Vol the Great, Daniel Sedajicato, Luke, Frederick Bruin, Goman Blackrock, Dodo King 4, Marcin Bialek, and Techno Waffle. Have a great day, everyone.